epicenter itself. Wouldn't be sad if we see something go that direction. I just want to see another big performance coming out of NRG. Apparently, if they have to chase the zone, it pays.
Kind of a scary situation, and back over to where we were. So, overlook.
Did you like the last game?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you're talking about in the mid game, on a serious note, you know, just trying to pick up the stragglers that they can, and they do just that. So securing 2 points, nothing too crazy is unknown on the top east side here, just outside of Overlook. Shots are actually raining down too, so need to be careful. I think that's where Liquid in the 303 and everybody else was kind of area. We also saw a team that won our first game. That is their drop spot too, so probably in the area as well. But luckily for them, they do have quite a bit of cover to work with, whether they want to go high ground or low. TSM also rotating over there very early on, something that they've done well. And I don't know if they're going to be able to get Aberlele back. 60 seconds here to do so, but a lot of teams in the area.
They look like they want it, but they don't know exactly if they're willing to pay the cost just quite yet.
I think Hal might be able to do it with that. Well, yeah, I mean, that portal and the phase shift. It's just so risky.
It's going to be close. He's got the portal maybe in time. Hard to say off that. Actually, I don't know if it's going to gen up in time. It's going to be close if it is. So he's going to have to figure out how he wants to do that. Remember, we still have his team. It's possible, but it could be hazardous because you can get there and then you have to figure out how you're going to make yourself back. Because that's the problem whenever you commit to going for it. Team Liquid still holding up back on the high ground. Well, two of them are anyway. They got themselves a lot of vision to work with and instead just going to go ahead and retreat off. This is going to get a little bit hot. Looks like I'm drawing a lot of attention off those shots that they took just a second ago.
Yeah, good choice by Team Liquid. Obviously, a little bit of a challenge here, but just trying to find some loot. Not a whole lot of pressure. Obviously, I think for Nocturnal right now, he's just looking for shield cells. And there's the portal, so weren't able to get Aberlele.
Well, now what are they committing back over to? Looks like a little bit of vengeance instead. Going to walk right up, take a quick shot, retreat back away from it. Going to go ahead and go for a couple of taps off to the side. Has to retreat from the frag grenade. Knows the fact that the reposition could come through. Instead, takes the portal back and away from this one. Knows the aggression could be slightly problematic. Instead, going ahead and trying to get around the side of this. They've got aggression on two different fronts. Now they have to be extremely cautious with this, as I believe it's going to be Smile that's looking back toward the direction off of 1 point.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of these high point teams under a lot of pressure already. I mean, these guys, you know, kind of that middle of the pack, the MVPs and stuff, are really applying the pressure well, and that's what you need. Is I think they're starting to get more confident. They also realize, like, there's not much more wiggle room. We need to make sure we have consistent results, because if we don't, we're going to get bumped out of the top 10 for placement.
Yeah, I mean, he's in a good position right now. TSM looked like they were playing a little bit more aggressive off of it, given their lead. That's no surprise. No harm to it, really. I know TSM fans are going to be like, that's going to be the catalyst for the firefight, especially if it goes back over, like, maybe a little bit southeast of Epicenter and stays pretty close towards the center. That's going to be where a lot of the fights are going to happen. Well, New Brainers finds themselves, well, it's not going to be Arc Star Rain. It's a rain in and of its own, but do manage to survive through it just fine.
Yeah, you got New Brainers here, and then there's two more teams over to their north. Need to be careful as Rogue is on the bottom side, too. They just got spotted out. So 4 teams in this area about to engage on each other. Team from the top half trying to take the rain. New Brainers obviously got hit with that Gibraltar all but good shots coming down from Hackula. Is going to have to back off and use that shield battery. Difficulty now is with the Gibraltar. That shield obviously on cooldown. So trying to probably sustain this fight a little bit longer. They do have the Watson ultimate down as well. And a minute 45 to work with. Trying to check the flank, just making sure nobody's there. They want these other teams to engage each other, but the difficulty here is New Brainers, they either need to make a wide rotation or they have to play it aggressive, because if they don't, they're caught on the rotation either way.
Well, they are on the thin side of the circle, so that means that they get a little bit more space to work with, a little bit more time, so they don't have to be hyper aggressive just quite yet. Instead, you're going to go to move to a new position, try to reinforce that one just a touch, and try to use the hill to provide a little bit more cover to work with. Maybe flank around the flankers that were trying to come after them, but Rocker takes a little bit too much damage and says, okay, well, we know where they're at, but let's be a little bit more cautious with it. New Brainers still just trying to hold down off of this point. Has to be very careful, as they have lost a little bit of the high ground control. Have to be careful off of their peak, so that's why you see them taking a shot and then repositioning back around it. They don't want to risk overextending into this.
Yeah, if they peek too hard, it just makes it a little bit too easy for the teammates, because we've seen the cycle of rotation of how shots happen. First guy peeks, puts some damage down, next guy comes in, and that continuous pressure just makes it very difficult. As a big Gibraltar ult. Not going to be able to defend against this one, because the Gibraltar bubble is down, as well as the Watson is off over to the side. So trying to rotate back into their kind of safe spot as that passive coming into play. Trying to get those shields back. But 35 seconds remaining here before we see an automatic engage. And looks like they're going to rotate a little bit wide, but need to be careful. There is a team down here.
I like the idea on this. Try to use this for cover, see if maybe you can get some more vision out and away. Get a couple of shots back over on the low point on this. Looking back down, they have a lot of control off of it, but they have to be careful. Third parties going to rein in the damage, and now the reposition is coming back over. Are they going to choose to aggress onto this one? They know that the zone is going to be coming in, so they have to be extremely cautious with it. Instead, it's going to be Frex off to the side of it. NRG coming up, getting the shots onto him. Have to be very, very cautious. The Gibraltar shield is going to come through, but there's not a lot of time to work with. Again, they are on kind of the shorter end of the circle, so they don't have to move as fast as the guys back down towards the south, but NRG is starting to find a little bit more comfort in their position.
And the kill feed is well protectful, and the guys from Shiny Muffin's able to drop down Rogue Sweet, so that leaves only one remaining as Snipe Down is gone as well. But NRG's decision making here was absolutely perfect. Just waiting for that opportune moment. You know, as soon as they hear the engagement go down, they immediately aggress on the top side, and a ton of damage coming here from Frex. So doing a really good job here. Enemy Guru's in the area as well, just trying to just sustain this fight as much as possible. Need to be careful. Tricky gonna get popped down on the edge of the circle. NRG just sitting here waiting for that last player, and it's gonna be a wingman to the head that drops him down.
All right, now it's about moving up and forward. They're pretty close to the zone, so don't have to worry too much. They're going to go ahead and get their res back off, moving into 3 people strong. Get their meds back up. Got to be careful. Spring's coming in. It's going to tick for a decent amount of damage, but you should be able to get away from it. Enemy girls, trying to come up back behind this one. Do manage to take down Rocker, but have to be careful off of it. Starting to make their push over and forward. Waz has the high ground, but he's got some company. Instantly gets dropped. Now it's just going to be M Shade off to the side of it. He's just kind of hunkered down. He's got himself a little cubby to play with. But every single time he peeks up, he could find himself in a very dangerous point. Surprised he doesn't go for the flush off to the side of it, but he's got another angle to play with. And right now, it's going to be the traps that are providing some form of cover, trying to take a couple of shots to work with. And it's going to have a little bit of information getting fed back over as just lose a teammate right up in front of him. But hey, look, you want to go ahead and get that one.
Yeah, rough situation, and no matter where he was peeking from, he was getting shot from every angle. His energy as well in that fight. Ended up losing 2 of his teammates, but should be able to pick up the beacons, but need to be careful. Probably just going to take what he can to stay surviving. And I mean, you just see the ability to understand the situation he's in. Immediately pulls the shield, gets the full health, drops another one on the ground, so he doesn't have to dig through the box in case he needs it here on the back end, but has a pretty good opportunity here. There is a revive station right near there, so depending on how he wants to play this, he might be able to use his portal and pick up the teammate and actually deliver. 50 seconds to work with. Curious to see on how Nafin's going to play this.
Work with, it's going to be very dangerous to move through quite a bit of open territory to try to make his way back over there. Meanwhile, Unknown, much closer towards the zone, but back over towards the north. You can see them sweeping through, trying to see if they can get a little bit more information, playing the rock croppings, see maybe they can spot out anything that's going on. Take a throwable, you'll never know what you get out of it.
Yeah, plus all those fences, it's a good place to have high ground and everything else along with it. So through the Gibraltar ult, see if it ends up playing out. Matt actually ended up getting dropped at the same time, so I'm going to drop that bubble down and pick him back up. 3-man still strong, but needs to heal up. Could be dangerous here as they drop down the Phoenix kit, making sure to utilize everything they can. And here comes the circle. Going to force a lot of fights here momentarily.
Trying to fight against the high ground. Hits a little bit of damage to work with, but you can see just kind of clinging to what cover they can right now. Going for the reposition off of this. They got themselves a low point to play, but a little bit of aggression off the side of it. Has to reposition. Instead, trying to make their way over. Good spray coming out very quick off of this. Blur retreating back around, trying to see if the aggression's coming from the other side. Going to try to step away from the frag grenades that are getting thrown in front of him. Not going to connect for a lot of damage, but has to be careful. 2 different points of aggression. You have to take your pick. Look off to the left. You're going to get shot from the other side. So now it's just a peek back and forth. Blur low on shields right now. Hasn't had time to get him back up. Doesn't want to opt into going for it because it doesn't know when the aggression's going to come. Now, finally starting to feel a little bit more settled with this as the fights have been happening around him now, saying, okay, maybe this might be my opportunity as Crummy's managed to get up his shields just a touch, rotate this one out, and yes, Blur's finally going to get himself a second to breathe.
The way they're actually playing this is so Crummy was low, and the benefit of having that thermal scope is the ability to actually look past those portals too to see if there's anybody there. So, well, one is healing, the other one, again, providing that cover, having that trust that player can fend it off. And then the communication if it ends up not playing out. So doing a really good job there to buy time for the teammate to heal up as we jump on board with aim assist who's up top. They did just see a Wraith portal ran into a full team of aim assist, so drops right back down. So looks like it is Yeet Squad who's right below who dropped that portal, and maybe it wasn't a portal, it was actually just a phase shift. So still in the back pocket, some mobility to use here, but need to be careful.
Looks like it might be the commitment coming through. Yeet Squad starting to play this one up and forward. Just jumps right into the action. Getting off a ton to start this one off. Aim Assist has got a lot of control towards the top, though, and says, no. There was no good options to really work with, so Six and the rest of the crew just had to make the jump up. But Aim Assist was waiting. That was a trap to be sprung the moment
they played that
showed
so well, too. That first player, I think, when they came out, they actually didn't shoot at, so it baited the rest of the team. They're like, okay, don't shoot the first one. First one comes out, they're like, oh, yeah, it's safe. We didn't get attacked. So the rest join in, and then as soon as that commitment happens, the rest of the team just comes in and just absolutely levels the team. As shots coming out here from Smile, even with the arc start, does not matter. Petty Boss able to remove some of these players on the other side. You see Pop-Out taken out simply, so need to be careful. Shots coming out left and side. 6 squads remaining here as the circle starts to push them all in yet again. As Petty just trying to find a good shield, does find a blue in here as he kind of just scavenges through anything he can find. As we get down, shots coming in, Arcstar and the rest of the players on the back end. Need to be careful. Petty Boss getting absolutely leveled on the back end as well. So trades back and forth, trying to find some sort of cover where he can heal. And right next to the Watson's going to be there. A team that we haven't seen actually in a while. Team Liquid still up top, still picking from the top side, just doing whatever they can to play cleanup as they need big performances.
4 teams left right now, 12 alive. Team Liquid has infinite high ground to work with, but are going to have one of their members go down. Luckily, there's a Wraith Portal to go ahead and second back up to a little bit of safety, but not going to work out. It's going to be the Sentinels using the Pathfinder. Crust just pops up there, says, no, I'm going to make sure to secure this one. So now it's starting to become a low ground versus high ground duel as Sentinels playing off on one point of it. Got a little bit of control to work with. Smile still has a lot of vision, trying to make sure that they deny what utility they can from the teams around them. Circle is going to go back over towards the other side of Overlook, so going to have to be a little bit cautious off of it. While they have firm defense right now, Smile is going to have to move, and there's a lot of cover to work with, but got to be careful. Every single peak has somebody waiting to take those shots off to the side of it. Petty Boss trying to go for the outside angle, already sitting on 5 kills right now, and he is just raining death on anybody that peeks in.
You can just see what the R99 can do and why it's a favorite of these players. I just suck too much to use it and whiff every shot, but when they land, absolutely lethal. As it comes out, Sentinels on the back end there on the receiving end, some of that, but it looks like they're all healed up, ready to go. It's still got Team Liquid up top on the side too, so between the 3 teams, we've got 4 remaining, though only 1 that I don't know about. But it's going to be difficult as we get here. The last 7 seconds ticking down on round 6. Going to make these guys get nice, close, and personal. Looks like it is Aim Assist is the last team on the outside, just kind of waiting next to Smile. Just trying to peek everywhere they can, just find any information, and here it comes. Team's going to be forced out of the area. The circle moving nice and fast. And what an angle here from Gentrifying.
That is absolutely cruel. They don't even know what's happening to him right now. Getting shot from the sneakiest of peak angles right there. Gonna go ahead and shift us down to 3 teams. Got to be cautious off of it. Amos is still looking back over towards the high ground. They know that there's the kings of those little oil derricks or whatever you want to call them. It's gonna be Team Liquid that's been hanging out there for quite a while, going for every single peak. You can see they're starting to get a little bit more control over this territory. So you see how the aggression comes through. Sentinel still playing back off at this point. They've got the low ground. They're the guys that are on the other end of these peaks. They've got to be careful. Once you start seeing these 2 teams start to interact, the third one can become such an influencing factor, especially when they have high ground control.
Sentinels on the backside. Team Liquid up top. Still got Gentrifying the boys on the other side with Aim Assist. Final 3 squads remaining. Just waiting to see who's going to peak first. Who's going to be forced to make the move. Whole lot going on. Team Liquid just buying their time. Casper up top of the wingman. Doesn't need to force really anything here.
Ooh,
but trying to place this grapple across, allowing them to go back and forth on this final circle. A lot of teams are going to just kind of jump back and forth on that zip line to make sure that they stay high. Shots coming over from Aim Assist on the right-hand side. They get right below Team Liquid, so Liquid doesn't have an angle anymore.
Look at the way Aim Assist is playing the terrain. They find every single little sneaky angle that they can work with, and they are just capitalizing off of it. They're just taking on so much damage on everybody around them. They just creep up, find some new sneaky spot, rip a teammate apart, and then retreat off of it. It's guerrilla tactics being used right now. Sentinels are just trying to bunker down. They're trying to use anything that Gibraltar can provide to create some type of castle, but it's constantly coming their way. Finally, they're hitting the shots, starting to inflict enough damage to slow down Aim Assist. Up towards the top of it, Team Liquid starting to also look back down onto it. Sentinels have the control, but they can't peek out. They're afraid of how Liquid will be playing with them. So instead, it's Team Liquid that's got a lot of control. They've got their bouncy rope to move back and forth. If the fight breaks out between the 2 teams below them, they can just spin over on top of them and get so much work put into it.
There you see Gentrifying trying to use that portal at the absolute last second. He's going to hold on and then use that shift. So by moving on and using the iframes here, it's going to provide a lot of different angles to work with as the Gibraltar ult comes down. Shots coming out from Sentinel. Sentinel's trying to play on the backside. Looks like Team Liquid still holding off until finally Sencross jumps down, absolutely lasers the Pathfinder, but it doesn't matter. Trying to see if he can get the last couple shots down, and it's going to be Team Liquid having the high ground and dropping down and getting the victory. Well played on the hold off. Congrats to Team Liquid on the top dogs here in the last game of World's Edge.